if you're one of those people who doesn't have access to a smartphone or a computer or the net, then you are probably missing out on buying President Pranab Mukherjee's book, which released on his birthday today, The Dramatic Decade, the Years of Indira Gandhi, for the simple reason that for 3 weeks exclusively, this book will be sold only on Amazon.in. And that's perhaps one of the reasons why many of the booksellers are up in arms, because they feel that the publisher has shortchanged them in a sense by making that book disavailable or unavailable to them. But of course, there are so many views on this, so many people saying that's really the future of the marketplace, and booksellers need to ramp themselves up and get with it. So what do booksellers really feel about this? We've got Anuj Bari from Bari Sons to talk about that. We've also got Samit Basu, who's an author. We're also joined by Ritu Menon, the publisher of Women Unlimited, and Amarnath Verma, who's also a publisher. All right, unfortunately, we don't have anybody from Rupa or unfortunately the president as well to talk about that. But Anuj, I want to throw that question out to you. There are many booksellers which have already boycotted not just this book, but all the publications from Rupa for the future, for this particular monopolistic trade practice, as many of the booksellers are calling it. What's your thought on that?
You know, there's plus and minus to everything. But I think on a note in favor of the booksellers, book which is brick and mortar booksellers, I think it's a very positive move, because a publisher cannot, based just on the monetary compensations, cut out a whole industry, which means approximately 5,600 booksellers all across the country, from selling such a prestigious biography. I think it's wrong practices and has to be dealt with sternly.
Okay, so you're saying that essentially this is not something that publishers should be doing, but Samit, you think that this is really just a kid's play, is it?
Well, I mean, it's a 21-day marketing promo thing, right? Now, if it was the president, I would think there wasn't any problem with it. But of course, I mean, the president's book should be equally accessible, and you shouldn't be restricting access to it. But looking at it with a writer hat on, it doesn't make that much of a difference really if there's a 21-day gap, and you want and online selling is more efficient than offline selling, and you want the book to be quickly and easily accessible and home delivered as conveniently as possible to as many readers as possible.
Okay, is that although sir, is that a very city thinking that online books is available in a much better way? Can that be applied as a standard rule across the country though?
Before that, I would like to say, first of all, book publishing and book distribution is not just a commercial business like many other things are.
Okay.
Books are meant for distribution, exposure, education, all that.
Okay.
And I feel that neither the Amazon or anything or any bookseller has got any right to monopolize. Okay. I personally feel they are two sides of one coin.
Yeah.
I personally feel that I personally feel that it is not a very good practice that for 3 weeks or 2 weeks or 4 days, 4 weeks, the book should not be available in a
in a bookshop. All right, so so really making the point, I think that we've been seeing so many products now, and I think I want to bring one of your voices in on this. We've been seeing so many products. There's been books, there's been gadgets, there's been phones, there's been all kinds of products which are slowly moving online. Fashion labels which are being exclusively sold on an e-tail website. But sir over here making the point that a book should not be reduced to a capitalist good. How do you guys feel about that? Does anybody want to take that point on? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I wanted to say that it should be equalized. Like retail shops should even have the books, and online should also have the books. Means like Amazon is having it, it's fine. But others should also be given the opportunity to keep that books at that same moment.
Okay. Does anybody over here want to talk about whether you feel that buying a book is different from buying another gadget online?
Yes, I think buying a book is different because book is meant for reading, and we have from many years we have seen that books are selling on the book. We go to bookshop and buy our books, so there's an authenticity related to the bookshops and book. Okay. So when you make this book online and only online, that's make a very and when you think about the people living in the village and the areas where online thing is not possible.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think the books should not be available only at, it should be available at online also, but equalize. Yeah, it should be equalized.
I'm just going to come to you, but that is probably music to your ears, Anuj. But Samir, I want you to respond to these people who are saying that there should be no difference really, and there is as much a need today for a bookshop as there is for a book to be sold online.
No, absolutely. I mean, I agree that there is a book. I mean, you need more bookshops. There should be bookshops everywhere. But, and I think this is kind of, I mean, they've made a bad error of judgment here. But it is also a fact that, again, possibly this is from a very urban mentality, but you do not have many good bookshops in India. If you're looking at bookshop as need, necessity, yes. If you're looking as can a bookstore in a city like Delhi, for example, how many good bookstores do you have? Can they compete with the convenience and ease of purchasing something online? Don't most bookstores are mostly like BCD stores and toy stores and whatever else?
All right, Ritu, do you want to respond to that?
You see, no one is saying that you shouldn't be selling books online. I don't think that there's a debate on that. And we know from the success of Flipkart that obviously it's a convenience that readers and buyers have responded to. But there are 2 points I want to make. One is, you can't deny a buyer choice, which is what is happening with an exclusive online sale, which means that if I want to go into a bookstore and buy a book, I don't have that choice.
Right. Okay.
The second is that you cannot, for 3 weeks or any period, debar anyone from practicing their trade, which is what is being done with booksellers. You're actually stopping them from trading in a particular item. I just want to add one more thing. For a book like this, the President's record of that dramatic decade, or for any of these, the political books that have come out, the first 3 weeks are critical. The first month of sales is critical.
Okay.
Everybody knows this, which is why there is an exclusive facility to Amazon.
Yeah.
Now, the question is this: why should a single e-tailer or retailer be given that privilege? I mean, I would have the same objection if someone said only Anuj can sell that book for 3 weeks.
In fact, that's actually an interesting point that you bring up, and we tried to get Rupa on board to answer some of those questions, because ironically Rupa Publications has been one of the strong voices against some of the monopolistic practices by e-tail sites. But I want to just, since we don't have Rupa on record, to try and understand why exactly such a deal has been carved out. Anuj, I also want to ask you, there is now, a lot of publishers are finding themselves dealing with e-tail sites and striking deals, like the case of course, Chetan Bhagat with Flipkart, and of course, Sachin Tendulkar's book with Flipkart as well. Is this also a case of booksellers crying foul or crying hoarse just because they're not able to, in a sense, make themselves a part of what is clearly the future that's completely unequivocal?
You see, I don't know whether you can call it equivocal or not, but the question is here, why should anybody, what Ritu said is true, why should anybody be denied a practice? If you put everybody on an equal platform, that's perfectly fine. We don't have a problem with that. We've survived with every title. We've survived with Chetan Bhagat, we've survived with Rajdeep's book. Let me just give you an example. You said about Sachin's book, right? Sachin's book has sold 200,000 copies in the first week. After that, boom, zero. So now the book is just trickling in, okay? So you have 1 copy, 2 copies, and it's just like Samit's book. Samit's book is a book which will sell throughout the year. But a political biography, Rajdeep's book, for example, or any other Natwar Singh's book, the first 3 weeks are the only time when the book sells. After that, it's 1 copy, 2 copy trickling in.
But let me just bring in a young voice over here. Does it really matter to you whether you have the access to walk into a bookstore or not? The fact remains that on Amazon.in, at the moment you can buy the President's book for a 33% discount. Does that not attract you to pick up a book from a website rather than actually go to a bookstore and pick it up?
Yes,
Personally,
I want to add one point. Likewise, we go and buy a particular book and we are buying it online. There's a difference because the feel that we get in reading a physical book, touching the book, turning the pages, and we are buying an e-book, it will be just like a document. You are just turning the text and all. It will just be like a text only.
Okay, sorry, you wanted to make a point?
Right from our childhood days, there used to be an excitement going to the bookstore with our parents, buying a new book. the online retailers are actually taking out that excitement out of the life, going to the bookstore.
But does the 33% discount not matter to you?
Okay, fine.
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, fine. A 33% discount does matter, but that kind of an excitement that you go to a bookstore, kind of a thing.
I want to add.
It's quite, no, Anuj, I'm quite interested to see that a whole bunch of people are willing to choose the choice of going to a bookstore and buying a book as opposed to the discount.
But there is ease in buying books from online store that they do home delivery also.
Yeah.
That is very easy.
Anuj.
I'll answer both his questions.
Okay, I know, but I just want to bring this in. Do you not feel that, the discounts that are offered by retail sites, isn't that their biggest advantage in terms of winning these exclusive deals?
It's a very simple answer to this. You give me exclusivity of 3 weeks and 50% discount, I will give 40% off. Why should I not give 33%? Why should I not give 40% to you?
See, it's not just a question of Amazon offering that discount. There are several bookshops in Delhi which pass on part of their discount to the consumer. So, as Anuj says, if I'm a retailer and I get 50% from Rupa for that exclusivity, I can pass on 35%.
All right.
It's no big deal.
All right. Okay. So, in a sense, Anuj and Ritu both making the point that if they had that exclusive access, they would pass on that they would be able to pass on that discount. Whether they would do it or not certainly is a big question. But Amazon seems to have done it. After the break, we're also joined by the CEO of Jabong, who will hopefully be able to justify why e-tail is the next big thing, and many of us will probably find ourselves on that platform sooner rather than later. We'll slip into a short break. Come back in a few minutes.